It's Your God Call with Reverend Bill.
There's an old saying that if you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. But if you teach him to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. And that is very, very true. And it's a little bit tricky because when somebody comes to us and they're hungry and what they'd really like is to have something to eat, teaching them how to make their own food is not necessarily what they had in mind. They're not looking for tough love. They're looking for a meal. Our challenge and our opportunity is to know when which is appropriate.
Ever since I was a baby, I have had one dream in mind. And each Christmas I think maybe it'll finally come true. It's a simple wish that everyone has had from time to time. So I know you'll understand me when I share my dream with you. I want to be rich, famous, and powerful. Step on all my enemies and never do a thing. I want to be rich, famous, and powerful. So all I have to do in life is sit around and sing. I don't want to work, struggle, or compromise. When I set a goal, I want to reach it right away. 'Cause playing your dues, that's for other guys. As for me, I want what I want, and I want it all today. I don't wanna audition, don't wanna take class. I wanna be discovered while I'm sitting on my ass. I should not have to suffer, should not have to sweat. I tried that for 10 minutes and look, what did I get? I'm still not rich, famous, or powerful. Barbara Streisand has it all and I can do what she can do. So why is she rich, famous, and powerful? While I'm still stuck here schlepping through my life like all of you. What does it take to be famous and powerful? Santa, if you're listening, please tell me what to do. What do I have to fake to be famous and powerful? I've done everything I can and now the rest is up to you. I tried being good, I tried being nice, I even tried pretending I was listening once or twice. But the really big stars have made it without it. Was Betty Davis pleasant? Well, I seriously doubt it, but she was rich. Everyone adored her and the world was at her feet, and she was a witch. It's obvious that I have gotten nowhere being sweet. Now I know I should be thankful for the blessings that I've got. My husband truly worships me, and starving I am not. And I suppose good friends and family and health count for a lot. But I have to admit, all this doesn't mean if you're not rich, famous, or powerful. Oh, come on, don't be so shocked. You know you feel the same as I. If we were rich, famous, and powerful, we could take all those agents and casting directors, tiny apartments and back tax collectors, critics and casting calls, chilly rehearsal halls, people who bore us, and jobs in the chorus, and kiss them all goodbye. Is that too much to ask?
Oh, thank you, Jeff. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So that's fun, inspiring, and probably really close to home. So good morning, New Thought, Philadelphia, and Merry Christmas Eve. You know the rules when we're meeting on Zoom. Keep your mic muted except when you're going to be sharing. We're going to have some fun together today. We're talking about the world I want. So it's not a Christmas wish. It's a little broader and bigger than that, but we'll have a good time together. So just to give your microphone button a little test, go ahead and unmute and you can repeat after me. I open myself to love.
I open myself
Open
to
myself
love.
to love.
I open myself to joy.
I open myself to joy.
Myself to joy.
I open myself to the awareness of the good surrounding.
open
I open
myself to the
myself
awareness
to
of the
awareness
good
of
surrounding
the
me.
good surrounding me.
The Christ light is shining as me now.
Christ's light is
Christ
shining
is
as me
shining as
now.
me
And
now.
so it is.
So it
So
is.
it is.
Right. Try that mute thing one more time, as I will remind you again that New Thought Philadelphia is an open and loving community of spiritual adventurers, welcoming each person to experience their divine nature in an empowering space of unconditional love. Whatever path you've been on, whatever brought you to our Zoom today, wherever you're heading next, we have been expecting you, and welcome home. Around these parts, we believe there's one power, love, intelligence, or force that creates everything, including each of us, and that we're each using that same power, love, intelligence, or force to create our lives according to our beliefs. The way we say it for short, your new life begins with a new thought. If you have an extra electronic device that could use to be silenced for the next hour or so it doesn't distract you or others, go ahead and do that now. One of the magical things about Zoom is that, especially since we're all usually on mute, is that it generally doesn't interfere with other people, but it does interfere with ourselves. See, 3 years in, you'll learn that sort of thing. I am Bill Marchiony, the spiritual director at New Thought Philadelphia. Our music today is by the illustrative and illustrious Jeff Lesser over there in Palm Springs, California. And the practitioners we have for today are Jesus Baez, RSCP, who is driving, which is not uncommon for Jesus, and Carolyn Nixon, RSCP, who is in Milwaukee, which is not unusual for Carolyn. And she is going to open us with a practical prayer, which is how we start everything.
Settle in. I invite you to join me in knowing that there is only one. God, Goddess, Mother, Father, God, infinite intelligence, spirit, creator. This ineffable presence, which is transcendent to full description by words or quantification by numbers. This pure divine essence, out of which everything and everyone emerges, the form, the formless, the seen, the unseen, and that which exists beyond the grasp of my senses. This one all-knowing, all-loving, all-giving, and everywhere present, sharing and revealing itself in, as, and through its creation. Whatever my current level of awareness may be, and whatever outward appearances may be, I know that I am always one with the cause of all that exists. I am one with all the light, love, peace, harmony, beauty, joy, and overflowing abundance in this divine, infinite universe. It is my divine inheritance. I am that I am that which thou art. I am grateful for this divine invitation to enter into this sacred and loving space of community. I am grateful to witness the way that this one shines its light to everyone present. It is through music, ritual, prayer, and meditation that this one fully reveals and makes itself known as our celebration. I let it be so as I release with deep gratitude into that creative medium of this one which creates all there is, knowing that it is creating these words that I speak right here and right now. And I go in peace. And I go with the blessed assurance that this is so. So be it. Blessed be. And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Carolyn. Very powerful. Yeah. So the reason that we do a practical prayer is because it works. It changes the experience of life that we're having. For example, had somebody been praying for a wonderful, uplifting, and deeply moving solstice celebration on Thursday evening, as I was, then the incredibly moving and deeply connected and wonderfully uplifting solstice celebration we had would be a prayer work story. So that's one for me. If anybody else has a prayer work story, something's going on, you can raise your hand, as Breen did and as Jeff did. So, Breen, you get to go first.
Thank you, Bill. Mine is dovetails with yours. I haven't been feeling too much in the Christmas spirit, whatever that means. Just not feeling it. And I, kept it in prayer to see, what does this really mean for me? And the solstice celebration really did move me into a different space and a different experience to think about the light and all the other traditions around the light, and really getting back to away from the hardcore Christian connotations of it and the commercial connotations of it, and just about celebrating the light and the return of the light and the metaphysical piece of the Christ light. So yeah, it was awesome. It was a great celebration. So thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you, Brian. Jeff, a prayer work story.
Yes, a definite prayer work story. So I pretty much starting over the summer and stuff, as I like to call it, I could not get arrested in this town. My work just completely stopped. I was putting things out there. I was getting nothing. I was trying for voice students. I was trying for jobs, nothing. And it just felt like I was completely blocked. So I decided to ask Reverend Bill for a session together, which we did, a lovely session. And he suggested that I meditate every day on the words, I am a gift, and I joyously share my gift with the world and this small town, which I found very fascinating. And although not like a bang, which is how things happen, more like a heavy trickle, things started to happen. I have now 5 new voice lessons, mostly not from here, over Zoom, including the lovely Dina Marchiony. It's one of my students now. I was asked to, I'm now every 3 weeks leading a sing-along at a new theater company. I actually put myself out there and auditioned for a big production here of Cabaret, and although I didn't get it, I was told that I was the second choice only because they needed to use someone who was equity, and I'm not equity, so I came very close. So things are starting to happen, and the universe is opening up because I am opening up to it. So I thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Anybody else got a prayer work story that you want to give voice to? Carolyn, is that your hand going up? You're muted. No, you're not.
This is the thing about being aware that God is present in the details. Since about the middle of October, I knew that sometime in the end of December, I'd be getting a little notice from the city that I had to relicense my cat, and it's a requirement for the building I live in, which means I'd have to take her to the vet and get a rabies shot and all that. And I was like, cats, getting them in carriers into vets and all that noise. And lo and behold, this notice came to me, and she was not even due for another vaccination for another 2 years. So that was
prayer works
pretty good.
when
Yeah.
the challenging thing that you thought was going to happen turns out doesn't have to happen now.
Nope.
I love it. I love it.
And I'm sure Lucy's happy too.
Yes. No cat carrier. Vaccination probably doesn't bother her. If you have a kazoo ready, we are going to herald in the announcements. So go ahead, and here's Karen with the announcements. You could have unmuted, guys.
This Christmassy information is on our website at newthoughtphilly.org and in our weekly newsletter. Please sign up on the website so we can keep in touch. We host 15-minute meditations on Zoom twice every day. If you haven't taken part lately, Zoom in this week. They're inspiring, fun, and quick. Christmas will have a single meditation at 9 a.m. Thanks to everyone who took part in our winter solstice celebration on Thursday. And many easy, the best one yet. The recording is on our YouTube channel. Episode 132 of Reverend Bill's Practical Prayer Podcast is Oneness Revisited. Get it where you get your podcasts. There is no live session on Christmas or New Year's Day. Follow our social media on Instagram, Facebook, Insight Timer, and YouTube. Enjoy the 1,666 spiritual adventures in our group on Meetup. Next Sunday is the last of the year and will include a virtual white stone ceremony. Email info@newthoughtphilly.org to get one. Set the stage for transformation in 2024. Reverend Bill is offering spiritual counseling, practical prayer packages that will help you and your gift recipient step into the life of your dreams, or well visits, to keep everything moving smoothly. We are grateful for your tax-deductible donations by Zelle, Cash App, check, PayPal, Venmo, credit card, or debit. Thank you to the team that makes our celebrations work and has fun doing it. To join us, joy in this joy, contact Sandy. Next Sunday online with a Whitestone Healing celebration to the wrap up of the year and set an intention for the good that we're inviting in 2024. Again, if you'd like a Jerusalem stone, please email the office so we can get you one. Live original music by Emily Drinker. The practitioners are available for professional sessions by appointment. After the celebration, Carolyn is available for a quick miracle minute in a prayer. We'll leave the Zoom meeting open after the celebration for casual conversation.
I'm about to start talking without unmuting myself. Thank you, Kara. And we always like to give a gift to people who visit us for the second time, and also a special blessing for people who are with us for the first time. So again, the rules changed when we went online because we finally met Nia face to face on Thursday at the solstice celebration, but she's been lurking, taking part by YouTube for a little while. So let us make this official. We are all going to rub our hands together. Nia, you're just going to receive. And I'm looking around the rest of the group. I don't see anybody who's here for the first time. You are the bright light of God's love. Thank you for shining your light and sharing your love with us today. And welcome home. Jeff's going to sing us another song, and while he does, go ahead and go into gallery view or flip through the display in your device and make eye contact with the people we're in community with, because this is the way that Christ light shines.
Haul out the holly, put up the tree before my spirits fall again. Fill up the stockings, I may be rushing things, but deck the halls again now. For we need a little Christmas right this very minute. Candles in the windows, carols on the spinet. Yes, we need a little Christmas right this very minute. It hasn't snowed a single flurry, but Santa dear, I'm in a hurry. So climb down the chimney, turn up the brightest string of lights I've ever seen. Slice up the fruitcake, it's time we hung some tinsel on that evergreen bough. For I've grown a little leaner, grown a little colder, grown a little sadder, grown a little older, and I need a little angel sitting on my shoulder. I need a little Christmas now, for we need a little music, need a little laughter, need a little singing, ringing through the rafter, and we need a little snappy, happy ever after. We need a little Christmas now.
Thank you, Jeff. I love how the richness and the variety that we have in the music here. And just wonderful to have you here today. We're going to do the Flames of Faith, and leading us this time is going to be Sandy, zooming in from all the way in Ballackinwood.
We perform this ceremony to acknowledge that all people and all faiths come from the one power, love, intelligence, which we call Spirit or God. We honor the richness that comes from our shared diversity and bless the interwoven energy of the divine feminine and masculine. We light the first candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the second candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light the third candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the fourth candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the fifth candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the sixth candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the seventh candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light the ninth candle for all forms of New Thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. As we light the healing candle, please put silently into the light the names of anyone or any place you wish to have experienced the healing flame of God's eternal love.
Blessed be. The reading today comes from this book, which is New Thoughts for Today, which is a compilation of one-page articles by the members of the affiliated New Thought Network. And this one is going to be read today for us by Jane.
Good morning. So this reading is entitled Play, and it opens with a quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson. "It is a happy talent to know how to play." How many of us forget to play as we get older? Maybe we feel we aren't supposed to enjoy playing or think it isn't adult if we enjoy making time for fun. Play allows us to switch gears, to relax, to let go of heavy thoughts that might be on our hearts, even if it is only for a short time. I think Disneyland is an example of the importance of fun for all ages. Walt Disney encouraged all who came through the gates of his park to leave their troubles behind and enjoy their day at Disneyland. The divine also encourages us to play. Oftentimes, we take ourselves too seriously and miss out on the playfulness of God. Emerson also said, "Let us take our bloated nothingness out of the path of the divine circuits." Again, we are reminded to get ourselves, meaning our humanness, our ego, out of the way to allow the divine to express in, through, and as us. When we are in the moment, allowing playfulness to express, I believe we have an opportunity to further engage with the divine. How will you choose to play today? And it ends with the affirmation. Today, I allow my inner child to play and to take the reins for at least part of the day. I experience the divine in a new way, and I am grateful.
So many things we can't control, so many hurts that happen every day, so many heartaches that pierce the soul, so much pain that won't ever go away. How do we make it better? How do we make it through? What can we do when there's nothing we can do? We can be kind, we can take care of each other, we can remember that deep down inside we all need the same thing. And maybe we'll find, if we are there for each other, that together we'll weather whatever tomorrow may bring. And it's not enough to talk about it, not enough to sing a song. We must walk the walk about it, you and I, do or die. We've got to try to get along. We can be kind, we can take care of each other. We can remember that deep down inside we all need the same thing. And maybe we'll find, if we are there for each other, that together we'll weather whatever tomorrow may bring. And maybe we'll find true peace of mind if we'll always remember we can be kind.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And Merry Christmas Eve to everybody. And there's a question, Christmas gifts, people ask you, what do you want for Christmas? So what in the world do you want? And I don't mean what kind of a gift can somebody give you. What kind of world do you want? The title of the talk today is The World I Want. And it's really important to understand the world that we want, because unless we understand what we want, we're not going to get it. Or we're going to get something that's either a close approximation or nothing like it. So we're going to spend a little bit of time understanding and identifying not only the world that we want to live in, the world that we want, but the ways that we might be able to participate in bringing that about. And the first thing is you get an idea of the world that you want is to understand whether or not you believe it's possible to have that world. Sometimes we look at the stuff that's going on in the world around us, we think that it's so awful that it can't possibly get any better. And since we get all wrapped up in the how that change could possibly happen, we let ourselves get talked out of whether or not we believe it's possible. And as a reminder, I'm not going to give anything away from the end of the talk, anything is possible. That's the core of this teaching, is that this is an infinite universe filled with infinite possibility. This is a creative process that creates billions of galaxies with billions and billions of planets and people. And there is so much richness and possibility and diversity, so much that is unfolding, so much that is possible and happening now that never could have happened even 25 or 50 or 100 years ago. Something brand new is possible right now. And that said, there are some people who get a little wrapped around the axle by the stuff that's going on in the world that we're having now. Why in the world is the world that I have not the world that I want? And there's a notion that, actually, I was able to share this a few times this week. It came up individually for some people I was doing some prayer work with. And the inspiration comes from computers. Because we all have computers, we know how computers work. You turn the computer on, you start the program does whatever the program's going to do. And every once in a while, something goes wrong with the computer and it just stops working. The program goes bad, or sometimes there's a bug in the program. By the way, the term there's a bug in the program actually came from the old days when computers were vacuum tubes and electric relays, and the computer wasn't doing what it was supposed to be doing. And it turns out that a moth had gotten in and died and was short-circuiting something. So that was the bug that they found. They took it out and it started working okay again. And now the bugs are just ways that the code isn't written in a way that's going to be helpful. The reason that's helpful for us is that we are like computers and we are running a program. And we are divine presence. We are God's computers, little operating systems here, or maybe big operating systems here, running the program that we're running. And we're doing it perfectly. And when we're getting the experience of life that's not like the experience of life that we want, it's not because there's something wrong with us. It's not even because there's necessarily something wrong with the program. It might be that we're not running the program that's going to give us the experience that we want to have. So most of us have used computers with several programs. So you got a word processor, you can write a book, or you can write a memo, or you can, write an invitation. You've got spreadsheets that are going to do arithmetic. You've got a database that's going to keep track of lists of people. You got a web browser that lets you surf the internet. If you want to add numbers up together, you probably don't want to turn on the word processor. If you want to write a letter and you open up a spreadsheet, it's not going to be a happy, uplifting, enjoyable experience. It's not going to give you what you want. And it's not because there's something wrong with the program. Now, there might be something wrong with the program, but it is in that choosing. It is in that first step of how is it that I am engaging with the world that we set up our possibilities for success. So it is always possible that if you are not getting the experience that you want to be getting, it's not because of something wrong with you. It's because you're not running the program that's going to give you what you want. So how do you run a different program? Well, the first thing you do is you stop running the program that you've been running and you make a decision. I'm gonna reboot. I'm gonna quit the spreadsheet and open up the word processor. And if I don't know how to do that, I'm gonna Google it. I'm gonna open myself up to the guidance about what it is that I can do next and participate in the change that becomes the world that we want to live in. Jesus said that we should be in the world, but not of the world. And what that means is that in our physical experience, we're living here. We're on planet Earth. We're living in the country and the state and the town and the house that we're in. So we are having a very real physical experience. So we are in the world. We're not of the world. We are not limited by the experience and our physical location. There is a huge amount that is possible that is going on beyond our local confines. So I've been working with a book called Living Untethered, and this is by Michael Singer. It's a follow-up to The Untethered Soul, and the subtitle is Beyond the Human Predicament. And there are some wonderful ideas in there about being untethered. So in a lot of cases, we attach ourselves to the circumstance and the situation, the experience that we've been having, and we become limited by those. And by becoming untethered, not linked necessarily to the stuff that's going on in our immediate vicinity, the things that we're seeing and tasting and feeling and experiencing right here on a local level, we can become untethered. We can become unattached to the way those things are happening and have a grander experience. The two things that he says happens along the way, and what a lot of the book is about, is observing and awareness. What is going on in the world around me? Because our senses are really powerful. 5 channels coming in that convince us this is how the world works. This is what's going on around us. And it might be true. It might be very real for us, but it's limited to what's in the world right now. There's something bigger that's going on as well. And we get to open up to that. We get to allow in the awareness of a different possibility. One of the things that he does in the book is talks about the importance of a meditative practice. And with a meditative practice, what we do is we let go of our thoughts. So in a lot of cases, what we're doing is we're thinking thoughts and we're thinking and thinking and thinking. Our minds are going continuously. And by the way, our minds are so good at thinking that they think if they stop thinking, then something bad is going to happen. When we meditate, we stop thinking. We let go of the thoughts and allow ourselves to simply be aware. And there are some people who meditate all the time and love it. And there are some people who think that meditation is scary and awful and do everything they can to avoid it. And I've been meditating for years and years and years. And the technique that Singer suggests in the book just as an exercise to find out when we're thinking. It's a very simple breathing exercise. So you get quiet, you get still, put yourself in a place where you can be uninterrupted for 15 minutes. And you breathe and you count the breaths. The first breath in is 1. Second breath in is 2. And you just keep doing that. But you don't keep on counting. What you do is when you get to 25, you start over again. And it's fascinating what happens is I was doing this morning and I got to 11 or 13 and I lost count, which means that I had gotten distracted by my thoughts. When I noticed that I didn't remember whether I was supposed to do 12 or 13 or 11 next, I went back to 1 and I started over again. And it wasn't a judgmental thing. It was an awareness thing. The thoughts have come in and they've kept me going. If you drift off, then you find yourself suddenly, I stopped counting. I don't know what happened there. And that is not, again, to criticize you, but it's to be aware of when your mind is thinking, when you're sleeping, when you're intentional. And if you find yourself getting up to 45, that means that you're letting your counting go on autopilot while the thinking goes on someplace else. So what we want to do is be aware and allow that awareness to guide our activities. So the world that I want, there's so much going on in the world. There's so much going on. We have 24 hours of news. There's cable TV that's willing to shove the headlines down your throat on a continuous basis. It can be overwhelming, and I get it. And there are people who say, I had to stop watching the news. And I completely understand that. And self-care is important. If paying attention to the news is making you crazy, do something different. You can do something different. And at the same time, be aware of what's going on and the importance that the headlines have in the world that you live in and the world that we all live in together. Because those are observations and experiences that various people have. Michael Beckwith says that we should treat the headlines as prayer requests. So we can simply look at the headline and say, well, that's not the world I want to live in, and then do the pivot. What is the world that I want to live in? If I'm in a world where this sort of thing is happening, what do I want to do instead? And be able to make that conscious pivot and pay attention to what it is that we want to have. And we can do that without having to pay close attention to the details, without having to get attached to the drama. Somebody asked me to define drama, and I said it's when someone wants to be right or to be a victim. And they tell the story from the position of, I need to be right, and it's all the reasons that they're right. It's not necessarily about the experience that they're having or the experience that they want. It's that they want to be right and have somebody else agree with them. Or they want to tell the story of woe about how somebody else did something that disadvantaged or undermined them, and they get to be the victim and get the sympathy and the commiseration from the person that they're talking to, and then perhaps be told, in addition to being a victim, that they're right and get that sort of support. And that's okay. But what happens if we're untethered? What happens if the drama isn't the most important thing that's going on? What happens if we can be present to something bigger that's happening in the world around us? Because we can. It's always possible. There are stories in the headlines today about the problems that are going on in Gaza between the Palestinians and the Israelis. And we happen to have an active HBO Max subscription now. The Gilded Age, if you haven't seen it, it's worth watching. It's a fun show. But the subscription, in addition, gives us access to the old episodes of The West Wing. I was watching an episode from The West Wing from 25 years ago, and there was an incident in Israel because of the conflict between the Palestinians and the Israelis, and they had to go in, and there was conflict in Gaza. This is a drama from 25 years ago. And it's still going on. What's the world that I want to live in? And not just where they stop doing that, or these people stop victimizing those people, or something superficial like that. What's the world I want to live in? What is that peace and harmony and equality and fairness? The broad brush thing, we say, a world that works for everyone. What does that look like? What is the world that I want that works for everyone? It's an old saying that the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago, and the second best time is today. And it's true. I have a tree that was planted 20 years ago. It's rather dramatically large at this point. And I have another one that we planted recently. And what's going to happen is it's going to unfold. We can't go back in time and plant the tree 25 years ago, but we can make that decision and do something today. A couple of weeks ago, Joe, who loves reading the newspaper and clipping the comics and sending stuff around, sent me a cartoon. This is from Pearls Before Swine. And the first one is, yay, woohoo, ha, 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 ha. They're all in a pool there. And the guy comes along and says, whoa, what is all of this? The other one says, life's pool of goodness. We're just here enjoying the sun, our friends, our lives. And he says, wow, has this always been here? Yeah, why? Where have you been? He's been in the pool of Twitterland, where everybody's saying the whole world is bad. They sum up by saying life is about the pool you play in. And that's about consciousness. That's about our intention. What is the world that I want? What am I going to do? If I'm not having that experience that I like, if I'm getting overwhelmed by the news, how do I get out of the Twitter pool or the news pool or the political pool, where one guy does something and everybody on the other side says that he's a criminal, and then the people on his side say, no, the people who are calling him a criminal are criminals, and everybody's just going at it, being victimized and being right. Where's that leading? Well, if it's leading you to be ducking your head and saying, I don't want to pay any attention to this, then that might not be the most helpful thing in the world. What's the world that I want? How can I become untethered to the specifics and open and aware to what's next for me and how to bring in something wonderful? I had a chance at the Parliament of World Religions to very briefly meet Marianne Williamson. And and hear some of the story about the challenge that she found as going from being a self-help person and notable celebrity into the political arena, which was pretty overwhelming from her perspective. And one of the things that she wrote years and years and years ago, which is still very powerful, is our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You're a child of God. Your playing small doesn't serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Change always happens first in consciousness. The simplistic way is change your thinking, change your life. It's actually change your belief, create something new in consciousness, and change the world. One of the mottos of Anton is that consciousness is the sole authority, and soul is S-O-U-L. So you can choose. You can choose. And start in consciousness. You may be drawn to do something in the world. You may be drawn into some activity. There are things that we can do to volunteer, to help, to participate. And in fact, your New Thought Philly Board of Trustees is taking a step in that direction. We're planning a trip down to Broad Street Ministries so that we can join together and feed the homeless. And that's going to be in January. And we got some details so that there might be a few slots available for the first one as we pilot test it for somebody else to pile on if you want to. And then we're going to do it again. There are other possibilities where we can do something in the world around us, not because the world is broken and needs to be fixed, but because we can be guided by consciousness. What is the next best wonderful thing that we can do to bring that goodness into the world? Claiming our power, owning our power, and choosing the world that we want. And as we celebrate Christmas, as you see all of the Christmas decorations and the lights and the festivities and the carols, you can get caught up in the commercialism of it and the fact that everybody is obligated to do this or that or the other thing. Or you can remind yourself that there is an opportunity for that bright light of love to be shining in a new way. To know that it is shining now as you. And as you choose in consciousness the world that you want to live in, it opens the way even a little more for that world to come into experience. And it's not getting stuff from other people. It's about making this a place where everybody is safe and joyous and happy. That's the world that I want. And as you embark upon this holiday season, I invite you to invite in the world that you want. And so it is.
You turned it off, right? Yep. You tell us when.
Thank you, Jeff, for that beautiful song. Now let's settle in your chairs, get comfortable, knowing that this is the day that the Lord has made. So we're glad and rejoice in it. I invite you, for those that can't, to bring your eyes to a soft focus or settle them completely. Not if you're driving or cooking. Take a deep breath and fill your lungs. Let it go. And continue breathing at your own pace. Knowing that it's not with might, not with disobedience, always strength, but with the Spirit of the Lord. Eyes haven't seen, ears haven't heard, or they haven't come in the heart of man. It's the goodness, the joy, that peace that God has promised to all those that love Him. The great commandment coming from the central command, from the source, from God, from Spirit. Love your God with all your heart, with all your might, and with all your strength. And the one as also as this one, and your neighbor as yourself. That peace, that joy. Say, don't be anxious. Don't worry. But with prayer and meditation, present your request to God. And that peace of God that surpasses all human understanding Got your hearts and your mind in that Christ consciousness. That light of your being is who you are. It's the light that God had put there. And what God put, nobody could take it out. But the human mind put there, you could take it out like that. Limitation. Let your light shine before man, for they could see all that goodness and glorify the Father which is within. For those that are in unity with the divine, they should have new strength. They should mount the wings like eagles. They should walk and not get tired. They should run and not get weary. And as we go into the silence together, embrace, embody these words and take them in the first person. They're yours. They don't belong to nobody's particular, but it's a universal principle that all could partake from the table of goodness.
Where my attention flows, spirit goes. Whatever I choose to focus upon grows and expands. I move beyond my judgments, my criticisms, my fears, my doubts, my opinions, my expectations. And I let go. And I choose to affirm that which I desire to see in this world as this world. And I affirm it through my thoughts, my actions, my focus, my intention. And I go deep within. And I perceive and I feel and I embrace peace, the wholeness, the harmony, this implicate order that is underlying all appearances. And as I rise to this level of consciousness, this world that I wish to see, this world which I wish to dwell in, and this world which works for everyone is revealed to me. In this awareness and with loving gratitude, I release my word into the creative medium of this one which creates all there is. Knowing that it is now creating this, And once more, I go in peace, with the blessed assurance that this is so. So be it. And so it is. I invite you now to take in a deep breath. Allow that breath to settle in, and when it has served its purpose, let it go and return your attention to our celebration for another song from Jeff.
Christmas makes you feel emotional. It may bring parties and thoughts devotional. Whatever happens or what may be, here is what Christmas time means to me. City sidewalks, busy sidewalks, dressed in holiday style. In the air there's a feeling of Christmas. Children laughing, people passing, meeting smile after smile. And on every street corner you hear silver bells, silver bells. It's Christmas time in the city. Ring-a-ling, hear them ring. Soon it will be Christmas Day. Strings of street lights, even stoplights, blink a bright red and green as the shoppers rush home with their treasures. Hear the snow crunch, see the kids bunch. This is Santa's big scene, and above all the bustle you hear silver bells, silver bells. It's Christmas time in the city. Ring-a-ling, hear them ring. Soon it will be Christmas Day. Silver bells, silver bells. It's Christmas time in the city. Ring-a-ling, hear them ring. Soon it will be Christmas Day.
Thank you, Jeff. Oh, that's wonderful. Wonderful. So it brings up a question for me, which is what kind of world do you want to live in? What kind of world are you choosing? And what's going on to bring that about? If you have anything like that to share, or anything else that came up for you today that you'd like to give voice to, go ahead and wave your hand. You can use the reaction button if you want to, or just I can probably see everybody. What's going on for you? What do you want for Christmas? Delia, go ahead and unmute.
Well, the thing that's been on my mind the most is this troubles in Gaza, and how 20,000 people have already been killed, and that's like an underestimate. And I was wondering about, how the whole world is watching this, and thinking about the Holocaust and how the whole world watched that, and 6 million people ended up dead in the end. And I just wonder if there's a way to coordinate some kind of a adopt a family situation with the people in Gaza. Like, and if it's not the whole family, maybe mothers and children, or just the children. But out of the whole world watching this, I would assume that there's people out there that can bring families in to live with them, because one of the biggest problems is that they keep getting pushed further south, or wherever they say, okay, everyone has to leave this area if they want to survive and move somewhere else, but they have nowhere to go.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, it's like a huge problem, but I just wonder if there's a way to coordinate some kind of relief with that. And I'm just putting it out there in case anybody has ideas.
Yeah. And as I was saying, the first step is yours in consciousness. You know, you've got that idea of wanting to do something. Um, and there's always this is my opinion, there's always that rush to, what can I do? I got to do something. And doing something is very helpful. And somebody gets to do something. And maybe it's me, and maybe it's you, and maybe it's somebody else. But the first step is in consciousness. You know, the situation on the ground there is that the people, if I were to want to adopt a family, they can't get out of Gaza.
Mm-hmm.
They can't get out of Gaza into Israel or into Egypt and then, you know, hopscotch their way over to Ardmore, Pennsylvania. Um, so it's the challenge of that situation. So there's a bigger picture. So with the intention of there being peace and harmony unfolding there somehow, open yourself up to that. Maybe take it into meditation, and maybe there is a step for you to take. Maybe there's something to be done, a letter to write, a contribution to make, a cause to be involved in. Yeah. So, and that's all possible. That is all possible. And I completely agree with you. This is, you know, as I mentioned, this has been going on for decades. And is it time for this to get solved? Yeah, maybe it is time for this to get solved. And I don't think another genocide is going to be a good solution. So, is there another possibility? Yeah, there is another possibility. Do I know what it is? No, not currently. It is currently above my pay grade, which is frustrating, you know. And still, we can want that good and do the work in consciousness. Is this the kind of world I want to live in, where that sort of conflict is okay, where what happened on October 7th is okay, where the reaction to October 7th is okay, where the whole story that led up to that is
Mm-hmm.
okay, you know? People are talking about the Ottoman Empire managed to get the Muslims, Jews, and Christians all living together on that plot of land, but I don't think we want to go back to that, you know? There's different possibilities, and I don't know what they are, but thank you for bringing that up.
Thank you.
Great.
Bill, I appreciated your computer metaphor. And I was thinking about, like, oh, I need a reboot. I need a reboot. I'm taking time off this week. But then I was thinking, you know, there's levels of that, because when I have a problem, you know, I'll shut down the program and restart it. And if that doesn't work, I'll open it up, you know, my control panel, and I'll kill the process. And then, you know, maybe I'll restart my computer, or maybe I'll uninstall and reinstall the program. And, you know, worst comes to worst, you reinstall your operating system. So I was like, do I need an OS reinstall? What's but yeah, I really appreciated that analogy of, you know, it's the computer's working fine. It's just the program, and restart the program or launch a different program to get the result you want. You know, we have this conversation at work a lot. I do project management about the tool you want to use, and is it going to be, you know, people want to keep stuff in spreadsheets. Other people want to use Microsoft Projects. Other people want to use, you know, some other tools that we have, and it doesn't matter as long as you get the desired result. And if you're not getting the desired result, try a different program. So I appreciated that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Breen. And we've all seen situations where the choice of the wrong tool doomed the project, and there was no way for it to get better after that. Karen.
Yes, I really appreciated the service today. You know, first of all, beginning with the music that was funny, uplifting, and it tied into the message that Jane had given about get in touch with the childlike expression. And my heart was singing with it. And then the message that the talk today you gave, Reverend Bill, reinforcing the importance of detachment and being of service. And that quote I had never heard it before, by Michael Beckwith: treat the headlines as a prayer request. Wonderful. Start now and it will serve me well in 2024. Thank you.
There you go. Thank you, Karen. Thank you. Yeah, there's lots of guidance that's available. Sometimes it's to give us a glimpse of something that we want, And sometimes it's to remind us that there's something going on that we don't want. And either way, we're free to reorient ourselves so we're heading in the direction we want to go in and then take that next step. Sandy, you have your digital hand up. Look at that.
Another thing that I appreciated about the talk today was the reference to the fact of what drama is, what living in drama is. And living in drama is either that desire to be right or victim, being a victim. And that's not where I want to live. And I can see where I do. So thank you for that reminder.
Beautiful. Thank you, Sandy. Yeah, as I was discussing drama, some examples came up. You know, some people wouldn't, if they show up late to your house, they'll tell you the whole long story about how they got a flat tire and they had to change their tire. Okay. Jesus can tell that story. It's just like, oh, sorry, I might have had to change a tire. And you don't hear about, you know, the cars whizzing by at 70 miles an hour on the side of the Schuylkill and not being able to get the lug nuts to work or whatever it is. And Joe would tell a dramatic story about changing a tire, but she could show up 10 minutes later and say, sorry, I had to give somebody CPR. And no big deal. So, yeah.
Oh.
So thank you. Karen, if you would do the lead us in the offering.
New Thought Philadelphia is all about spreading the love. Our community is supported by your contributions. The gift you share helps fund our work in the world, and the way you shine your light spreads the love. We are grateful for every way that you share. We don't have a basket today, but there's a donate button on the website to make a donation by credit card, PayPal, cash, or Venmo. You can also mail a check to our offices in Ardmore. The offering affirmation is on the screen. Please join me in saying this. I live
in an
An
abundant
abundant
universe.
universe.
I am one
One
with
with
all good.
all good.
I am a
I
I am
center
at
of
the center of
prosperity.
prosperity.
I enjoy the richness of life.
Life.
I
I
bless
love
my
my
gift.
my
gift.
gift.
I share my gift
I
with
give my
gratitude
gift
and
To
and
joy.
joy.
I know that
as
as
I
I
give,
give,
I
Live,
receive.
you
I
receive,
receive,
and
And
so it is.
so it is. Amen.
Oh, amen. Settle into a feeling of gratitude for the good that's already unfolding and the good that's still on the way, as Jeff does one more song for us.
I just wanted to put this in your head as I sing this. I chose this song to end. It seems like the perfect song for the end of the year. It's not where you start, it's where you finish. It's not how you go, it's how you land. 100 to 1 shot, they call him a klutz. Can outrun the favorite, all he needs is the guts. Your final return will not diminish, and you can be the cream of the crop. It's not where you start, it's where you finish, and you're gonna finish on top. If you start at the top, you're certain to drop. You've got to watch your timing. Better begin by climbing up, up, up the ladder. If you're gonna last, you can't take it fast, man. Nobody starts a winner. Give me a slow beginner. Easy does it, my friend. Conserve your fine endurance. Easy does it, my friend, for that's your life's insurance. While you are young, take it wrong after wrong after wrong. It's not where you start, it's where you finish. It's not how you go, it's how you land. but they call him a klutz. Can outrun the favorite, all you need is the guts. Your final return will not diminish, and you can be the cream of the crop. It's not where you start, it's where you finish, and you're gonna finish on top.
Yay. And the we're started now, and the finish is on the way, and it is success. Yay for all of us. Let us end with another joyous cacophony together. Go ahead and unmute your microphone, and in celebration of Christmas Eve, repeat after me. The Christ light is in me.
Christ light
Christ
is
light
in
is
me.
in me.
I am divine love in my own way.
I am
And
divine
love
in
in
my
my
way.
own way.
I let my love flow,
I let
I
my
let
love
I let my love flow.
and I let my Christ light shine.
And
I
I
let
Let
my
Christ
light
shine.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
And so it is.
It is.
Quick reminder that if you need a white stone, send the email to info@newthoughtphilly.org, and we will get one in the mail to you on Tuesday, and it will be there.